Good morning, everyone. Am I on, Jeff? Yep. All right. Well, day 2 of best practices inventory management. Looked like it was going to be a rainy day this morning, but someone ordered some better weather for us, so it cleared up. Looks like a very nice day. Hope everyone enjoyed their evening last night, found something to do in the area. A lot of you are at the reception. That was very nice, a little bit of networking time. Just a reminder on that tonight. When we get out, if you'd like to come over, right next door is a restaurant. I mean, it's literally right at the end of the parking lot here. It's on the border, Mexican restaurant. And again, I know the food went quick last night, but I know how you guys are. The first night, drinks are really important. So, and it made it right till the end. Hope so everyone did well. Different crowd. Last year we had no red wine drinkers. This year, 4 bottles of red wine. So, you know, that inventory management's a little bit hard to do, even with history. All right? It's hard to predict it, but we still switched it around, fought the fire, and pulled it off. Tonight, 5 o'clock over on the border, there'll be more food out there, appetizers. So if you come for the food, drinks are on your own, though, tonight. But there'll be a lot, and it's fun to get network, talk with people. So when we're done, if you can, come on over. A couple other quick housekeeping duties or things. Found a pair of glasses in here last night, right here at the corner. There we go. You were wondering and looking, weren't you, Gary?
I brought an extra pair of those.
There you go. Yeah, they were right here. I knew we'd have a taker. Does anyone have a book that doesn't belong to them by chance? 99% of them are here, but 2 of them, for some reason, on this end. I don't know if it was during the cleanup. Yep. You found yours? Perfect. Did you find yours, Travis? Did you have a bunch of notes in it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's got all the notes memorized. But if you come across a book that's not yours with some notes, that's Mr. Travis's.
Spot right here.
See, are there any notes in it?
It looks like there is. Are they better than your notes?
You can pass that back and see if that's Travis. If not, we'll put it back there that maybe someone's still coming in. So glasses, missing books. I know we were missing a couple of attendees. We ran out. Who needs an attendee list? Anybody? Okay, very good. Anyone need the flash drives? I know I had one back here. Want to get the PowerPoints? Pat, coming over. Anybody else? Coming to you. All right, if anyone needs those, just pass them around at the end when you're done, if you can stick them back up here. Internet access. They said we somehow were loading it up yesterday. They'd given some codes, but they'd asked me to just go over this. Everyone knows how to get on the internet, so I won't give the instructions, but the password that'll work for in here and in your room is Novi, lowercase, N-O-V-I, 5969. Now, they had checked the records, and some of you had got on because you didn't have the code, did the pay thing. We have internet included. They said they would review the bills and make sure no one gets charged for any internet. But take a look at your bill. If you have internet on there, let them know, and they will remove that, okay? Try to use the code going forward. But again, you shouldn't have to pay for any internet. That was negotiated into your room rate. And one correction from yesterday. This is Mr. Ferris back here, not Mr. Derrick. I apologize, Ferris. Wanted to come back, and you guys will all remember it now because I know what's going through your head as soon as we mention Ferris. But I don't know where Derrick, even after he told me yesterday, I do that, but that's Mr. Ferris back there. Okay, I think that wraps up everything I needed to go over. Now, there's probably a few questions, and what I'm going to ask you to do is hold those, because we're going to do a review this morning. We're going to spend about an hour and 15 minutes. Sometimes it's 45. It all depends. We're going to roll back through yesterday. A lot of things will get cleared up with that, and then when we're done with that, we'll address questions if there's still some out there. I've had a few on rank, a few on miscellaneous things, so let's go through that, and we'll see where we end up. Anything we need to talk about non-question-wise, just anything at all? Okay. So again, we're going to take yesterday, and we spent the morning talking about company objectives. We talked about customer experience. We talked about profitability, and we talked about growth. And then we concentrated a lot around customer experience and profitability and how the inventory management world ties into that. Then we went and broke down the inventory world into the model of the order point, line point, and EOQ, and equated it back to our objectives. So we're going to go back through that, but I'd like to do that because, again, it's really important that we understand what are we doing? How does it help customer experience? How does it help profitability? If I need to change something for one side, what's it going to do the other side? And I often talk about that. Companies will come in and cut their inventory, and their customer experience dies along with it. That's not what we're trying to accomplish. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to take then all of yesterday and start bringing it into the system. How do I actually set the system up? How do I get good data? How do I forecast the inventory? How do I have a good purchase net available? Those are what I call steps 1 through 4 to get the numbers ready for you. Then how do I use it? The replenishment, the timeline, and the surplus. Then we'll talk about proactive maintenance, measurement, and controlled replenishment. And that's just the 10 steps that we're going to roll through. So we're just going to take all of yesterday and bring it into your real world. So again, stellar customer service at the lowest cost to serve, service, profits, and growth. We're going to use the 10 steps. And again, we're going to talk about smart setup, accurate data, solid utilization, and driving the results rather than looking, once you start measuring, there's 2 things you'll look at when you measure. Can I see that phone a minute? And again, there's a big difference between doing your day-to-day work and looking at the end of the month to see what you got. Well, how did I do on fill rate? How did I do on profitability? So on and so forth. But the other part is saying at the beginning of the month, I want to drive customer experience to this. I want to drive profitability and working towards that. 2 different worlds. One is, what did I get by doing the job? What do I want to get and how do I get there? Big difference in those 2 worlds. Went over this yesterday, so I'm not going to cover that again with you today. And again, we're going to do the review. We're going to go through steps 1 through 4. Then we're actually going to jump in and work all the way through the numbers on a couple examples, just so you see it comes all together from usage, lead times, safeties, all the way to the order point, the line point, the EOQ. Then when we get to step 5, we'll actually bring that into, this is why it's showing up on your RAR with this number. There shouldn't be any guesswork. It's not that you have to know this math every day, but you should be able to go to your PO or transfer anytime and know exactly why it got that number. And now here's something I always like to share on this day. When I get people using the system well, first they say, system doesn't work well. Something's broken. When I get them diving in and looking and understanding how it works, what ends up happening is about 50% of the items that they thought the system wasn't working, but they're only looking at order point, line point, big picture. When they dive in and say, is the usage good? Is the lead time good? Is the safety good? Is the review cycle, order cycle good? And they say, yes, yes, yes. All of a sudden they come back out with a different perception of that item. And what is it? Oh, the system's smarter than me. I didn't think about that or see this. And all of a sudden they start building this faith. Now 50% of them you'll find there is something wrong. We forgot lost sales. It has a bad lead time and you'll fix those. But you'll be absolutely amazed when you understand how it really works that a lot of these items you thought it wasn't working well, you'll go, it's working a lot better than I thought now that I understand what it's really doing. That you will be able to walk away with after today and tomorrow. And then, of course, this will be about the end of the day. We normally get to around steps 5 or 6 at the end of the day. Then we'll come back tomorrow, pick it back up, finish up the 10 steps, and then do a review, and then we'll have our Q&A in the afternoon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this with you. Now, what that is a one-pager of 90% big picture what we covered yesterday. And again, what you've got here is first our objectives. Here you've got all the points we talked about yesterday. I'll move this one out here. Can I put this on between you two? The glasses are good. It was just that. Okay. So these are all the things we talked about. How do I get a good order point, line point, EOQ, surplus, some miscellaneous things in your P&A. This is how it all comes together, and then this is that 10 steps that we've talked about yesterday, and I just went through how do I actually put it into a process. Does anyone watch, I forget his name, but he was on last night. I always play the TV while I'm kind of doing things, and he's a company turnaround. He goes in and buys, his name is, it's called The Profit. But it's amazing because that was in the background last night, but what I started picking up was his theme. And his theme is trust the process. Build a process to manage and manage that process. That's what this is really all about. Build this process and manage that process. And it was interesting, again, I didn't watch, I was parts of it, but it was really trust the process is what really came out of that. So I thought I would share that with you today. This is the process to get the results that you want out of your inventory management program. Okay, and this is, again, I ended with this yesterday, and I wanted to start with it. He studied to be a scientist, and that's the way he approaches business. He thinks of everybody's job and how to get the most out of that function. I think of everybody's job as two things overall in a company, three if we really want to go there. What am I doing with customer experience? What is my part with profitability? The third would be, how do I help support planned growth? So again, here's the 10 steps. I'm not going to roll back through it. You've seen it. We're going to roll through that today and build this out. And again, in case you don't like the graphics, you like to list it out, this is what we looked at yesterday, but there's a slight twist to it. Now, we're going to start having some screens much more today that some are SX, some are FACS, or some screens are oriented towards SX, some are oriented towards FACS. If you have this down in the little corner that's saying, this one's gearing towards SX, this one's gearing towards FACS, okay? Still the same things, just different ways to get there. Oh, the blinker's on the left side of the column, not the right. That's all we're really talking about here. Now the difference, yesterday I gave you the big picture. Today, I've actually got your paths or your programs or where you go do it. So again, in inventory management SX, to set up parameters, ICSR, ICSD, ICSL, P, and W, and we'll go through all of those throughout this next 2 days. And again, I'm not going to go through all these, but this one has all the paths. Now, if you're a menu driver on SX, I don't know the menus, but you'll find it. Does everyone know what I mean on SX? You can either come in through the menus or you can come in through the paths. I can always find it on the menus, but I don't know where. But this is the paths that'll get you to where we're talking about. In FACS, same thing. For parameters, we got the replenishment parameters maintenance, review cycle setup, item in warehouse, item, file, maintenance. So again, we're just listing out the programs. FACS doesn't have the same paths like SX. It's menu driven. But again, this will give you all the places to go to do these 10 steps. So with that being said, let's go back and review yesterday. We started off with company objectives. What were our three main company objectives? Customer service or customer experience, profitability, and then we put growth in there because a lot of companies do want to grow. And again, I watch a lot of companies as they grow their top line, what happens with their bottom line? If the infrastructure is not in place and they can't support it, as the top line grows, I watch the chaos grow, I watch the fires grow, I watch the frustration grow, and I watch the bottom line shrink. All right, I've gone into many, many companies that are twice the size company they were 10 years ago, and the bottom line dollars is still the same. Why are we doing that? You might as well have been half the company, not been as frustrated, and got the same dollars. All right? It's building that structure to go around it. So with customer experience, now there's multitudes of things in there, but I like to talk about 5 main things. And again, fill rate or availability. That's normally the number one. Not always the number one. You know what the number one is, whatever went astray yesterday. But in general, the same thing that you want from your vendors is the same thing your customers want from you. All you have to do is put on one shoe or the other and go, oh, it's the same thing. How do we offer them a good fill rate? Are we getting deliveries and everything on time delivery, or if they're picking it up, but is it ready for them on time of when we promised it to them? Is it accurate? All right, and there I think of 3 main things. There's more than that, but did we get the right product put on the order, the right quantity, and the right price? So it all starts with entry, and then we're able to follow through and actually do that physically. Did we pick the right product, ship and invoice it, the right quantity? And did we invoice the right price? And I asked yesterday, we measure this all the time, credits versus sales. And you can come out and measure all of these within your company, and depending on where you're at, if you want to be, and again, depends on the industry, but in today's world in general, if you want to be that distinction against your competition, Most of these should be in the 98 plus range. I should be able to fill our stock orders 98% of the time, line item ship complete. I should be on time delivery or pickup 98% of the time, and I should be able to enter an order, pick it, ship it, invoice, and be done with it 98% of the time. Now, some of you are in a 96% world. That's the industry. Some of you are still in that 88, 90 world, and you're going to feel it. All right? You've got to get those measurements up, or who's going to come in your back door? Your competition, and be able to take your customers away from you. I grew up with a company, an irrigation distributor, way back when I graduated out of college, and we were 9 locations. We were $9 million in sales. We were, I don't know what we were in inventory, but we were getting about a 1.8 or 2 turns. We were about an 88% fill rate. We were just a small, mediocre irrigation distributor out there. The president or the owner hired a new president, said, we want to grow. And this is where I learned a lot of this. My very first job, they came in, and I'm a distribution degree, and he said, we want you to convert us over to shims, one of you the sister packages. I go, you don't understand my degree. I'm a distribution guy, not a software guy. And he said, exactly. I can take a distribution guy and teach him software and technology easier than I can take a technology guy and teach him distribution. Is that making sense to everyone? So I spent my first 2 years, and we didn't call it that then, but it's what we call it, I call it now. I was the pet person. We went through every single job function. What is the process? How do we take advantage of our technology, and what's the education? I spent out in warehouses, over in the corner with flip charts, teaching people. We bring 3 people in, and this was continuous over 2 years. All right? This is where this resulted, just to let you know. 7 years later, from 9 locations, we were a 1,000 location company 7 years later. From a $9 million, we were a $1 billion company from $9 million. All right? We were getting 2 point whatever turns, we were getting around 8 turns. We were an 88% customer fill rate. We were now a 98% company fill rate. We had 2.5 buyers when we were $9 million. How many buyers do you think we had when we were $1 billion? 2.5 buyers plus 1 assistant. Did everyone hear that? We learned how to take care of people and use them. We learned how to take advantage of technology, and we learned the importance of education. Our turns were fantastic. Our fill rate was fantastic. We were the distributor of choice. You guys now know this company as they were bought out later after we went on NASDAQ, and it became, back in the 80s, a lot of you said, or 90s, I don't want to cut my grass anymore. So you started hiring these companies, and John Deere wasn't selling mowers to you anymore. All right? So John Deere said, we've got to expand our business, and that's when John Deere Irrigation or Landscaping was developed from this company. All right? It's changed hands, it's moved around a little bit, but just to tell you what can be done, the importance of pet, bringing it all together, it was impressive. We were on the front of Forbes magazine 2 years in a row as the fastest growing company in North America, percentage-wise. We had a mission, we knew what we wanted to do, and it was impressive. And here's the fun part. People were having fun in this company. They weren't hitting the snooze 43 times every morning going, oh, God, here we go again. How many yellow stickies, phone calls, and emails are going to be waiting for me with all these fires? Everyone understanding what I'm talking about? That's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. Then we talked about 2 other things here. Issue resolution. When there is an issue, does this say we're going to be perfect? No. Does this say we're going to be perfect? No. Does this say it's reality? We're not going to be perfect, but when something doesn't go right, our customers aren't going to have to call us 43 times. They're not going to get passed around from person to person. It's going to get resolved. It's going to get resolved quickly, efficiently, and they're going to go, wow, I didn't like what happened, but you did a great job resolving it. Let's keep moving. When you get with a company when there's problems and they don't come back and resolve it, or they're making excuses and they're telling you things, what happens? They will drop you. Everyone's going to have troubles. It's how you resolve those troubles. And then the last one, and someone commented on this yesterday, they really liked this. It's not highest price. It's not lowest price. It's a fair price for what I offer. And we were stellar, and we charged about 3 points higher anywhere along the line than our competition. Our customers knew it, and they still came to us every day because we got the job done at the lowest cost of procurement for them. Everyone good? Now, are there any questions on any of these? How we were measuring fill rate yesterday? Line item ship complete? Okay. Then we talked about profitability. And again, what we talked about, and again, we'll do this quick. Sales, my sales revenue. I was at $1.25. Cost of goods sold, $1. Gross margin, 25 cents. Costs, 21 cents. Bottom line, net income, earnings before interest and taxes, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I forgot to mention that. That same company I was just talking about, 2% bottom line when we were 9 locations, double-digit bottom line when we were at double-digit. A lot of you go, huh? I work with a lot of companies today that in the industry, it's a 3, 4, 5% bottom line. Companies I work with in the same industry, we're normal double whatever the industry average is by what we're doing. Double the bottom line. Now, if I want to go out and increase my profitability, now again, a lot of us get stuck here. I watch companies drive the gross margin up 2 points, but they spend 3% doing it, and I kept pushing that all day yesterday. There's no trouble ever spending money in your company if what? It makes you more than you spent. Hey, if I saved $1 in freight and it only cost me 50 cents in cost to carry, that's a good deal. If I saved $1 in freight, but I spent $2 in cost to carry to beef the PO up large enough to get the freight, I still lost, you guys. So you got to look at that total. So where I'm coming back with that is, yes, it is gross margin, but I have to get it down here or it doesn't count. So, can we sell smarter? That 2 cents. And it would go right to the bottom line if nothing else changes. And I said there's 2 ways you can go charge more than you are today. First off, are you selling product at the lowest price, or are you selling the service of your company, the best experience? You can charge for the best experience. If you're just charging for product, it's whoever's the lowest price. The second one I said is often a lot of us don't know what our competition's charging. So you have to go push that envelope a little bit until your customers say, hey, your prices are too high, and then you back it off. But that's pricing optimization. So 2 ways to optimize your price. Can I buy better at 98 cents, but if I'm getting it 2 cents less, what am I not giving up? This. I've got a $1 vendor out there, and I've got a 98-cent vendor. This 98-cent vendor, I'm going to flip it the other way, is poor on fill rates, on-time delivery accuracy. I got to do a lot of work and get with them. And when I'm all done, my total procurement cost, my total cost of ownership because of everything I had to do with them is $1.06, $1.07. Mine said one thing, hand wrote something else. Sorry about that. $1.07. Here, even though they're $1 up front, great fill rate, on-time delivery accuracy. I place a PO and I don't have to think about it 98% of the time. It happens to what I want, on time and accurate. They're $1.03 when I'm done. Even though it looks like they're more expensive up front, they're a better deal. That's what I'm playing with here for you guys selling. And that's what I'm saying you don't want to give up if you go get a better price. Don't give up the service. It's just not the price, it's the total price that you're paying. Everyone good? Then the last part, and again, that would go to the bottom line, 8 cents. And then this cost. And there's 3 costs that we really, I know your GL is broken into many things, but there's 3 overall costs that we do. Operational cost, transaction cost, whatever you want to call it, our people. We do orders end to end. We enter an order, and finally we pick it, we ship it, we invoice it, we get the check or collect the money, we apply it, we go do a deposit at the bank. That's end to end what it takes to do an order. For a PO, we place a PO, do our follow-ups, we receive it, we put it away, we go to AP, reconcile it, we pay it, we reconcile the banking account. That's a PO end to end. You guys got what I'm talking about. That's what we really do in our business. 4 transactions: orders, POs, transfers, and work orders. Everything has to come back somehow to that. So you have your operational costs. Then, well, I should have put it first, freight costs. We move inventory. We bring inventory in from the supplier, we ship inventory out to our customers, and we move it around branches. There's a cost there. So you have the freight or the inventory movement, you got the operational cost, the transactional cost, and then the last one is our asset costs. Now, assets, inventory, AR, warehouse, buildings, and such like that. Now, for us, as far as inventory, there's one in each one of these. Are we minimizing or watching the inbound freight and the intercompany movement of items? Are we watching our cost of purchase and cost of transfers? That's our operational cost. And on the asset side, what's our inventory investment? So as far as the inventory world, we're playing in all 3 of those worlds. Now, yesterday, what I said, you just